Hey everybody, I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and you are on the Lifeboat. I hope everybody's doing well. I really do. I hope everybody is having a great day. I am having a good one. It's not exactly 100% true. It started out pretty rough, I'm not going to lie to you. Not going to lie to you, it started out a bit rough, but that's it's the nature of the beast, I guess. You know, one of those things. So, I want to thank everybody for all of the feedback on last night's video, and I want to thank everybody that caught the morning show today. The morning show got, I don't remember, but it's over 100 views, and you know it sounds funny saying that, especially because you know I know a lot of YouTubers and guys that get 400,000 views on a video. But there's something different about 100 views of people that are going somewhere in the morning to try to, hey, Monk, good to see you, to try to actually live a better life. You know what I mean? I think that's good. That's really kind of cool. And there were no less than 5 people who went out and either shared that video this morning, not this morning's video, but last night's, either shared it, repackaged it, commented on it. And you know what, people? That's awesome. The farther we can push the message out, the better off that we can be. Anna Morosa, good to see you. Still sober. Glad to hear it. That is, that's what we're pulling for every time. What a great message, huh? Still sober. So, yeah, today I had some watch issues. I was working on a watch. And I was so calm, cool, and collected. I wasn't calm, cool, and collected. But I'm working on it, man. I really am. I'm trying anyway. This one was absolutely unbelievable. It was just one of those things that made it really, really. The one-handed snow shoveler. Leslie, guilty as charged. I am the one-handed snow shoveler. And Trinity Red Blue Pill Hi-Ho the Frog, Kermit the Frog here, said that she's going to post some shoveling videos of her shoveling. I'm not sure I believe that. If you've never gotten over and seen Trinity's show, I don't think anybody on YouTube edits stuff better than she does. I cannot begin to tell you the level of jealousy that I have for her abilities. Truthfully, I mean, you talk about someone that's just, I mean, I was going to say gifted, but gifted is one of those things you're born with. I'm sure that she worked really hard for it, but what an absolutely unbelievable video that girl puts on. If you've never seen it, you really should check it out. So if you saw tonight's video, oh, Monk, I love it. Monk says he's bringing the wife. I love it. If you saw the thumbnail for tonight's video, you may think that this is going to be me preaching. And believe it or not, it's really not where I'm going with this thing. Now, that being said, everybody here knows what I believe. I've been really transparent in my beliefs. And I'm just going to say that they're above just about everything. No, I'll take that back. They're above everything I'm about to talk about. However, your beliefs really, truthfully, and do define you. So if you don't define your beliefs, it's another one of those things that we kind of coast through life. It's certainly one of those things. Johnny, good to see you. It's one of those things that chances are you never took the time to write down. You probably never took the time to define. Maybe you have. And if you have, fantastic. But if you haven't, I would consider it. I really would. And if you have a belief in a higher power, fantastic. For real. It's going to make getting sober a lot easier. And that's not an opinion, by the way. It's got nothing to do with an opinion. That is a stone cold fact because the research has bore that out over a very long period of time. Those who believe in something greater than themselves, and I'm not telling you what to believe, but those who believe in a power greater than themselves are far more successful. And that's just sort of the way that works. It's not something that is open to debate. It really is one of those things that is just a fact. But on top of that, what are your beliefs? And I'm going to define for you guys. I'm going to talk to you a lot today about some of my beliefs. I do want to do a shout out to a couple of people. For those who are still sober and keeping it, every single day fighting. That's Franklin's on day lucky number 13. Super happy for you, Franklin. Brandon is on day 17, maybe, and the other Brandon is on day 4, which means he fell down, got up, dusted himself off, and he's on day 4. And could not be any more proud of him. This is definitely the one. I have absolute faith that this is the one that is going to get the job done. Charlie Murphy, good to see you. So, as far as the belief system goes, there are a lot of different ways that a person can look at this. And you're going to hear from what I'm talking about that these are the things that keep me on an even keel. It is absolutely one of those things that I have to define what I believe in. And it's one of those things that I got to go back to and work on. Something that I got to update. It's something that I have to spend a decent amount of time thinking about. Because if I don't, I'm going to get lost. My beliefs are the compass on my boat. You know, they're the things that keep me where I'm going, keep me in the right direction. And I'll tell you something. The first belief that I have is the belief that a sober life means freedom. I have spent a regrettably large amount of time in my life incarcerated. And the crazy thing is that when, you know, and I've told this story before, but I remember working with Q and walking through a day room where they had either just hit with, with H. I don't know exactly what substance had just hit the day room. It could have been fent, it could have been H, but it was definitely an opiate. And you sit in little segregated groups, and there was a group of people all at the white table who were doing this one, you know, and just sort of nodding off. Brittany, good to see you. Glad that you're here. And these people are sitting there, you know, doing the head nod, and I was still close enough, to still being an addict, you know, and very much an active addict. I had not been sober very long, and I sort of stopped and kind of looked. And my thought was, oh man, I wish I could be doing that. You know, that's where my head was. I was that early on in my sobriety. And I looked at Q because I knew I had gotten busted. You know, when I stopped walking, he stopped walking right next to me. And I looked over at him with that look like, and he goes, yeah, you really got to feel bad for him, don't you? And I went, huh? He said they're locked up in this place, and then they choose to lock themselves up. And in there, it really is a choice. You know, it's a lot harder in the free world. You know what I mean? And when you're in there and you're incarcerated, you really are making a choice. You're either going to go this way or you're going to go that way. When you get out in the real world, there are so many things that can tear at you and pull you from every different direction. In prison, you're either walking the line, right, or you're screwing up every way you can. And these people were making a conscious decision to screw up, making a conscious decision to stay in the life. And it stuck with me. It really did. You know, that those guys needed me to feel for them. You know, and it was definitely not where my head was going the first time I came across them. But I believe wholeheartedly that sobriety equals freedom. There is absolutely, in my mind, my belief is that there is nothing worse on this planet than to give up your freedom and to do it somewhat voluntarily, certainly voluntarily in the beginning, and to continue in that life when you know what the other side holds. That's incarceration. And I am of that firm belief, and nothing could shake that. I believe anyone can get sober. I believe anyone can get sober. I talk to people all the time and say, you don't understand, I've been doing this too long, or you don't understand, how far I'm gone, or how far, or, you don't understand the things I've been through, or you don't understand why I do the things that I do. And you know what? None of it means anything to me. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I will happily sit down and listen to anybody's story. But in terms of the excuse realm, doesn't mean anything to me, because I am of the firm belief that anyone can get sober. And one of the driving forces behind that is the fact that I got sober. And my habit was vicious and had brought me to places that I promise you the average person doesn't end up. You know, I was locked up for bank robbery. You know, that's about the bottom of the barrel. And if that wasn't enough to shake me back onto solid ground, I then got arrested again within 2 years of leaving prison for gun running. gun possession with the intent to sell. I was selling guns to an undercover officer, an undercover FBI agent. So, yeah, I believe anyone, and I mean that, anyone can get sober. I don't believe anyone is too far gone or any of that. And that is one of my beliefs, one of my solid beliefs. And I don't know that I could do this if I didn't believe that. It's one of the guiding principles of the Lifeboat for me. I also believe everybody is worth saving. And I'm going to tell you this. There are people on this boat I don't like. I'm just going to keep it real. There are people on this boat, personality-wise, that I clash with. We're not of the exact same. We're not cut from the same cloth, so to speak. And there are people on this boat that don't like me. Doesn't mean that they don't deserve to be saved, and it doesn't mean that I won't fight for them. Am I going to hang out with them? Probably not. Am I going to exchange a bunch of emails just doing pleasantries? Probably not a real good chance. But that doesn't mean I won't fight for their sobriety, and I think that that's got to be the mindset of everybody on the crew, right? I know that if I asked every one of you and I said, who on the boat grinds your gears? Almost all of you, if not all of you, would go boom, boom, boom. Toss out one name, two names, three names of people that just rub you the wrong way. And you know what? That's human nature, people. It really is. It's human nature. And I don't know that there's anything necessarily wrong with that. Doesn't mean they don't deserve to be saved. And that is a firm belief of mine. And if it wasn't, I couldn't sit in this chair and wear this hat. That is one of my absolute bedrock beliefs. I believe we're under attack. I believe we're under attack. Here in the U.S., but anywhere where freedom reigns, in any way. If you're not part of the beast from the east, or their two or three friends, right? You're under attack, and they're using weapons of mass destruction in the form of, small pills that are being pressed or powder that's being sold everywhere where they can sell it. Any of their enemies, they're doing everything they can, and every single day without fail, I will get an email of somebody from another country that says it's all over the place. Fent is everywhere. They realize what they've got. And you know what, people, it shouldn't come as a huge shock to us, should it? I mean, if you go back and look at history, right, they've got an idea of what the poppy plant can do, right? The Opium Wars were real. This is something that their people were enslaved by this for a very long time. And it took a while in the modern era, but that's what they're doing. And I believe that. There's no way you're going to get me to believe that this is just people trying to make a living. You don't continue to increase the strength of your product. After it starts killing people, you back off a notch. If you continue to up the strength of what you're selling, after you know it's killing a large chunk of the people you're selling to, it's a weapon. Plain and simple, it's a weapon. And there are people who are going to disagree with me. You can disagree with anything on this. I'm giving you an idea of the framework of how I structure my belief system. Your belief system is yours. But may I suggest you that you come up with one? And I shouldn't say that. May I suggest that you define it for yourself? Because I promise you got one. Whether you want it or not. Yeah. Yeah. M1 says, Tommy used to watch cells. Now he sells watches. I like it. That's actually really funny. So I believe we're under attack, people. There's no two ways about it. I believe we're under attack. And you know what? I believe we're the only people that can do anything about it. Truth. I believe we're it. I believe that the key to overcoming this lies right here with every addict on the planet. Because we see something. There was a movie way back in the 80s where, these reptilians attacked from another planet. You had to have a pair of sunglasses on. Right? It was a terrible film. Roddy Piper. It was awful. It was just a terrible film. But if you didn't have the glasses on, you couldn't see what these people were. As soon as you put them on, you knew who every enemy was. I think those in... I'm so sorry. No, that's a good one. I think that... I think recovery of this is the equivalent of wearing those glasses. I think we see this. Every time I talk to an addict, they're like, oh my God, of course we're under attack. Right? How do you not see that? Well, people, there's a lot of folks out there that either don't see it or don't care. So I believe that we're under attack, and I believe that that something needs to be done about it. And I believe we're the only people that seem to notice, which is horrifying. But it's a fact, and it's an ugly fact. I'll tell you what, I believe in the dream of the boat. Right? I really do. I believe in the dream of the boat. And there are times that that's harder to believe in. You know, you lose somebody stumbles and falls. Fent sucks too. I was legally prescribed patches in the early 2000s. Not a good feeling. Drug, powerful though. Ruins your tolerance fast. Very, very astute. No question. The patches, that's alpha fentanyl. And the garbage that's on the street is so much stronger. But just the patches or the lollipops, if you're not familiar with that, people, they make fent in lollipop form for people who are on hospice. And they literally just, put a lollipop in their mouth, and it gets it into their system very, very quickly. And but you're right, it builds your tolerance up overnight, and it leaves you enslaved in a way that other drugs don't. And they're counting on that. They're counting on that. They know what they got. They've got the ability to destroy a country without firing a shot. They got the ability to destroy an entire country without putting any boots on the ground. All they got to do is keep pumping this trash into all of the countries of their enemies and watch human nature destroy itself. Now, do you think they're going to stop? Because I'm here to tell you they're not going to. Why would they? It's working so well. They live now, correct. It was actually pretty cool looking back, all those subliminal messages. Yeah, correct. The signs all had subliminal messages on them. Yeah, that is the name of it. Well done. But yeah, there's no, we're in that place, people. We're absolutely in that place. And the dream of the boat, when we got this thing off the ground, the dream was to have a place that people could come where no one would judge them. A place where you wouldn't see the color of somebody's skin, you would see their habit. And that you wouldn't judge them based on that habit. In other words, if you're doing 16 grams of fent a day, right? Of course you'd be dead. You're doing 16 grams of tar a day, whatever the case may be. And somebody comes in and they're struggling because they're drinking 6 beers a day but have been for 5 years. There's no judgment. There's no my habit's better than your habit or my habit's bigger than your habit or any of that garbage. We are all in this together. And that's how this thing got its name. For those who have been around a really long time, they know this. But for those of you who just got here, Zenwen, good to see you. For those who just got here, that's how the Lifeboat got its name. It got said so often, we're all in the same boat. I don't care if you're overeating. I don't care if you're gambling or what your affliction is. We're all in the same boat. Every one of us is struggling because we're controlled by a substance. Right? Or an activity or a habit or whatever, all of us are in the same boat. And I believe that. And that was the dream. The dream was to have a place for people that weren't comfortable going to other places. Using technology. I remember when Mark and I talked on the phone, and by then we were up and running, but I needed a lot of assistance. And we were talking on the phone because he had really, Rip, good to see you. He really was wanting to move forward with the same kind of thing. So we started talking to one another on the phone about, the dream of what we were trying to get put together. And Mark had made a comment where he said, social media is just so awful. It really is. It's filthy. But if you could use social media the way it had been intended to be used in the beginning, and it was just, man, we were on the same page. And I believe in that dream. I believe that social media was intended to bring the world together, not to separate them or divide them or push them apart. Unfortunately, it's not doing that. Here in the U.S., the Surgeon General came out yesterday and said that he doesn't believe children under the ages of 13 should have unfettered access to social media accounts. Duh. Holy hell, we needed the Surgeon General to tell us that? Turn on social media for 6 minutes. You really need the Surgeon General of the United States to tell you that maybe your 10-year-old shouldn't be able to just go hog wild on the internet. I believe that the internet and that social media has sent us back, right? Massively sent us back. It has not moved us forward. It has made us stupid. And it's making us dumber and dumber and dumber. And I know that sitting here and talking to people via social media is probably not a great way to say that, but it's the absolute truth. Yeah, M. Hunt, duh. Don't let your 10-year-old, check out whatever they want on the internet. Well, that's damn good advice. I'm glad the Surgeon General has stepped up to the plate the internet's only been around, what? Al Gore invented this like 6 years ago? It's been going a really long time. In this country, I think they view 2.5 grams or under as personal use. Is it the same there? Absolutely not. Here it is divided into 50 different states, and all of them have their own laws. So there are places that are very, very harsh. There are places like Oregon where they're decriminalizing damn near everything. So we have 50 different small governments, so to speak, all under the same umbrella. And they all have the ability to pass laws whichever way they want. But no, there's no countrywide decriminalization or anything of that nature now. I believe addicts are probably kinder. And I'm referring to the ones that have, that realize who they are and what they are kinder than the rest of the planet. I really do. I believe that once you pop out of the malaise that is drug addiction, or once you realize who and what you are, that you don't view the rest of the world the same way. It always blows my mind if I'm with somebody that has never had a problem with drugs, the way they look at the homeless, the way they look at people on the side of the road who are painfully, obviously wasted on whatever, and the comments that get made and things like that. You'd never hear that crap here. You would never hear that crap here. I believe that addicts see the homeless and go, oh God, I was so close. Or they see somebody talking to themselves walking up the side of the road and go, yep, I get it. I get it. A person probably started out with all the potential in the world. And they're mumbling to themselves walking up the side of the road because this stuff is poison. It really is. And I don't care how you wrap it. I don't care if you got to put it up your nose. I don't care if you got to put it in a vein. If you got to smoke it or drink it or whatever you do, it's poison. Now, is it to the rest of the world? You know what, people? With all due respect, I don't care about the rest of the world. It's outside my boat. I really don't care. This is my belief system. Is in the shape of a boat that nobody can see, except the people who are on it, I guess. I don't care about the rest of them. Because, I'll go on a tear and start talking about alcohol or one of the other drugs, and people will go, yeah, but you know how many people I don't care about them. Doesn't matter to me. Really doesn't. Why would I? I mean, with all due respect, that's not my concern. I talked the other day about an email I got from somebody who was watching a video where a bartender was being praised like he was Nostradamus, or like, he was just some incredible gift to humanity because he was making these beverages that were just so tasty. It was changing the planet. And the person just made such a great comment. They said, that's my poison that they're celebrating like that. Can you imagine if on the same video they said, and next up, this is Jake, and he's going to show us how he cuts his Fent. And how he packages it, puts it in the little baggies, takes it out to the corner. Nobody dances right on the edge, right? Gets you completely wasted with minimal risk of you overdosing. Jake, you're the best. Sounds stupid, doesn't it? But if your substance of choice is booze, right? That's, I feel every single person's pain on this boat. I really do. And the ones who are out there who can watch that video and go, oh, I can't wait to try that. I don't care about them. They're irrelevant, at least for this hour a day. And as I said, I believe we're nicer. I believe we're kinder. I believe our hearts are bigger than just about everybody I've ever met. And if I didn't believe that, I wouldn't be sitting here. There is so much potential in every addict. Truthfully. I don't know whether or not it's something about people with huge hearts tend to become addicted. But it tends to get people who are really intelligent. It tends to get people who are really loving and really kind. And every damn one of them is worth saving, and every damn one of them can be saved. Those are my beliefs. No two ways about it. And you know what? There are people who will argue that with me. Not here, they won't, because the guy with the blue wrench will crack them over the head. But in the real world, they might. You know what I'm saying? You know? This next one, I think you're going to love this. I know I'm going to chap a few people with this. I believe in the truth. The one truth. You know what I mean by this? Have you had somebody yet say to you, well, I just needed to tell you my truth. I just had to speak my truth. I got news for you. There's one truth. Let's take the Kennedy assassination. What's the truth? What happened that day? Nobody can tell me that truth. Because honestly, nobody knows. We really don't. You can say, I believe the Warren Commission, right? Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. Took out the President of the United States. You can believe that, if that's what you want to believe. You can believe that it's the people from Chicago, the mob, that had him whacked, right? Over some stuff that was going on down in Cuba. And that's not your truth. That's your opinion. I can't stand that. It drives me completely insane. I believe in the truth. There is one of them. There is one truth. And I believe that as addicts, we really lose a grip on that truth really quickly. I believe that lies are the fruit of addiction. And I believe that truth is the fruit of sobriety. You know what I mean? That's absolutely 100% a fact to me. I also believe that the word sober is a verb. You know, you look up sober and it says something like the state of being chemical free, you know, of drugs, alcohol, anything like that. Clear state of mind, right? All of this stuff. I don't think it's the state of that. I think it's the act of that. I think sober is a verb. And I think that once you get sober, you're not comfortable sitting, right? It's like the word running or any other word. When you get sober, Heather, good to see you. When you get sober, you get this drive. And it's what makes people show up here. It's what makes people watch morning videos. It's what makes people reach out to the other people on the boat. I got an email today from somebody that has been suffering, and I would like to read this on the air, but I didn't get permission to do it yet. But it is absolutely beautiful. Wow, I just met with my doctor today, and she said they have removed the special license requirements for doctors to prescribe Suboxone. Now all doctors can help their patients by prescribing subs. I did not hear that, but I have written letters for that. I have fought so hard. Honestly, I have reached out to so many different places. Actually, to be honest, I wrote one form letter, but I've sent it a lot of places. That is absolutely life-changing. They should have done it 5 years ago, and the number of people that would still be alive are astounding. You know what that's going to do for us here on the boat? There have been 6 times so far where I've plugged somebody into the system, and at the last minute had the online people say, no, we can't have that happen. That is, we don't allow anything to be prescribed via online. And that's debilitating. That hurts people in a way. You know what I just saw? Vicky Brooke is here. Because that letter I was talking about was Vicky's. I'd like to read this, people. And I just got permission, so I'm going to. It said, Captain Tommy and crew. Even though I haven't been participating in the live streams, I have listened to some and watched your morning podcasts. I make my bed as soon as I get up. But I learned that one many years ago. However, I did learn some very important life skills from you and the crew. I learned that it is okay to hurt, have fear, be confused, but I learned that I don't have to do it alone, as I had in the past. You and the entire crew are absolutely beautiful people. If everyone was truly honest, we all have some type of addiction. It takes courage to admit it, and even more courage to ask for help. I know you don't want to be the recipient of compliments. Good. So I'll skip all this part. Then she just says a lot of really, really beautiful things about me. And then she says, by your example, many have reached out to me from the crew. I wouldn't have known them if the lifeboat hadn't started. You know how many reached out to me? Otherwise, none, unless I called them first. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in now, which I believe is a huge part of the world's problems. In closing, I will be back soon. I'm healing. I have my sad moments, but I have good ones too. Thank you for everything. I love you and I love the crew of this boat. You are the best friends anyone could hope to have, Vicky. Vicky, the timing of this is epic. And I'm sorry that I didn't read out the compliment stuff, and it was beautiful. I loved it. I really did. I just don't know that I could have read it out loud. But it was beautiful. It really was. It was one of the most beautiful compliments that anyone has ever given me. I believe you can choose your family. I believe you can build a family. And when she says these are the greatest friends, I want to tell you something. The way that I have been treated by the people on this boat, and I am blessed beyond measure by the fact, seventh son, member for a month, lieutenant, be nice to your kids. They'll choose your nursing home. Nice. I've been blessed with a family that is just fantastic. My birth family was a gift from God. I was the only person in it that probably wasn't worthy of that family, at least for a long time. I feel very worthy of being in that family now. I'm blessed. Not everyone is. Not everyone is. So when you say, you can't choose your family, the hell you can't. Why can't you? Choose your brothers, choose your sisters. No problem whatsoever. There are people on this boat that mean the world to me. And I promise you it's the truth. Leslie, servant of God, asked me today in a comment. He said, do we wear you down? Right? No, what he said was, is the crew exhausting? And you know what, people? Sometimes at 4 o'clock in the morning, you guys can be. But I prefer the word rewarding. Because I've never done anything in my life more rewarding than this. And even if the vast majority of people that we try to help don't make it, it's still going to be worth it. Honestly. We did a show last night, and if you missed it, man, please go back and watch it because it is special. And I'm not just talking because of me, but catch it, and especially catch it when you can read the live chat and read the things that people were saying. But if you throw a rock into a pond and you watch the ripples come out from that, if the only thing the lifeboat did was save one person, this would have been worth it. If one person got sober because of all of these, I absolutely would have been content. The original goal was 6. I don't know if you ever heard that story, but if not, I'm sure it'll come up at some point. But the original goal was to save 6 people, and we've kicked the hell out of that. We really have. We've gotten so many more than 6 people help. And we're going to continue to do this. It's, you can choose your family. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't. I believe it takes a crew to get sober. I really do. And you don't have to find the crew on a virtual boat. You can find the crew anywhere, right? I'm glad you found this one, right? Because I get so much out of you people. But I don't think you do it alone. I'll get an email tonight. Make no mistake. I got sober alone. I got one time. This is no lie either, because this is funny as heck. I'd almost like to put the person on blast, but as soon as I do, they'll show back up. But there was somebody that said to me, I came out and I said this, I don't think you get sober alone. I don't think that happens. I think you have to lean on other people. And I even said that day, someone will send me an email tonight that says, I got sober alone. The funniest thing in the world is I got an email that night from a guy that said, I've gotten sober by myself 3 times. Make no mistake, you get sober once. Right? You get sober once. The letter continued on that currently he was not sober. But he's done it 3 times. Sober is the act of not going back. Sober is I've been sober. If you take all of the time over the course of my entire career and you add it all up, I got a lot more than 7.5 years. Because I'd make 6 months and then I'd fall off the wagon. Or I'd make it 3 months and then I'd fall off the wagon. Right? Or I'd make it 2 years. I'd made it 2 years once. But I only got sober once. Right? My sobriety time. But the sober, that's when it stops being the act of. It stops being, and starts becoming that I'm going to get out there and I'm going to do it. And I'm going to be a part of this. And this is going to be a part of my life. Sobriety is a huge part of everything that I am. It's one of my defining characteristics. I think if you asked people to describe me, I don't know that the word sober would be too far away from it, right? He's that sober guy who tries to help other people get sober. Like I don't know how else I would be described other than the hat and how damn handsome I am. I believe we can save the world. I really do. I think that we're getting real close to where it's going to get too far gone. But for right now, I believe we can save the world. I believe that, and I'm not talking about me, people, all right? This is not a, hey, Tommy for president. But I am of the belief. I had 10 years when I wrecked the wagon. Oh, Monk. But you're back, right? But you're back. That's what it's all about. It's about getting up, dusting off. Except for 3 years, I'd have 17. Now I have, what's your sober day, Tommy? I have been sober. The last time I used was in June. I will be sober 8 years this June coming up. Just over 7. Yeah, I got about 7.5 currently, But I believe the world can be saved. But I'll tell you something. The biggest threat to our country and the biggest threat to this earth right now is drugs. And if you think I'm crazy, people, then you just haven't researched it enough. Because it is eroding the fabric of everything that the world believes in. For real. You continue to keep people wrecked. You continue to keep a large enough group of people really high. And some of the things that they come up with. There was a law introduced today. And you know what? I'll lose a couple of people. And that's okay. See that sign back there? It's all good. There was a law introduced today that will allow a woman to abort a baby after it's already been born. If you think that's okay, see that sign? Feel free to use it. You know what? I would never get into the debate of the abortion debate. I wouldn't. But after a child comes out, it's a baby, right? Their argument used to be that you don't know when it becomes a life. Well, I promise you, once it leaves the woman, it's a life. Or the man, I guess, because it says in this bill that whether a man or a woman gives birth, drugs are ruining this planet. It's eroding the fabric of this planet, and I believe it's not too late to save. But boy, we better get on it. We better get on it. Because we are getting to the point where it's going to be too far gone. I hate to say that, but I truthfully believe that that's what's going to happen. I believe that there are 50 people here right now, and only 36 of you have hit the thumb up button. What? I'm sorry, I couldn't resist that. I believe everything starts with love. I think the default setting for everything when it works is love. All healing starts there. I think everything that makes it work, everything that makes it work is love. And I think that when we really get our feelings hurt, and I don't mean outside this vessel, I'm talking about right here, we're going to get our feelings trampled on. It is part of the deal. We're going to be let down. We're going to have our hearts broken. We're going to have our teeth kicked in. You know why? Because we keep believing in people. And sometimes when you've believed in somebody 6 times, 10 times, 12 times, you feel like, ugh! It hurts on that 13th time. And that's when love is the only thing that's going to get you through. The default setting is just to go back and go, you know what? There was a period of time when I was that person. Only way worse, right? Honestly, when people do this stupid stuff, I look at him and I'm like, he's not robbing banks, right? He's probably not stealing from his family. Try to never lose sight of where you came from. Chris's email the other day was great. You don't have to sit and talk about just how awful your past was all of the time. You don't have to just beat on yourself, right? I talk about it because it's kind of essential with what I do. But you don't have to beat on yourself. You don't have to drag yourself through the mud for the things that you've done. But you better not forget them. And it's not so much because you're destined to repeat it, but that's true. But just as importantly, if not more importantly, my feelings aren't as important as my family's lives. Boy, M. Hunt. Zen Wen, thank you, hon. M. Hunt, that's huge, man. That is absolutely huge. But on the days where I feel disappointed or I feel let down or I feel like, I can't believe this person relapsed, man, I relapsed 1,000 times, maybe more. I couldn't put a number on it. I say things like 1,000. It might have been 4 times that. I don't have any idea. I relapsed constantly. It was like every other day. Are you kidding, Zen? You give every day. Don't say things like that. No, don't say things like that. You're one of the most generous people. Don't ever say things like that, any of you. Thank you. Don't, please. Please, please, please. Thank you so much. I really, truthfully appreciate you. And as we just heard from Rip, man, the number of people we're going to be able to help is going to get so much bigger, people. It really is. It's going to get a whole lot bigger. And that's probably that's probably the coolest news that I've heard in a really long time from this seat. That's huge. And I appreciate that, Rip. I really do. I believe we owe our kids a whole hell of a lot more than we're giving them. I do. I believe that we owe our kids a better youth than what we're handing them. This thing right here had the potential to do the coolest stuff in the world. This could have turned every single kid, no matter where they are in the planet, into somebody loving, caring, intelligent. Tanya D, thank you. If I can change bad habits, I have faith you can too. I love that. I love that. I really do. Thank you. Appreciate it. This thing should have leveled the playing field. That's all it should have done. It should have made it so that anybody in the deepest, darkest continent on the planet with no shot of going to college or doing anything else had a shot at an education, had a shot of learning what the rest of the world looked like so that they weren't hemmed into that little small community that was all they knew. And instead, they hem themselves into a little small community through this thing that is dangerous as hell. And there are so many kids that are really addicted to this as much as they're addicted to anything. Maybe more. More people are addicted to this than are addicted to anything in the world. And most of the people who are addicted to other stuff are addicted to this. We owe our kids more. We owe our kids so much more than this. I'm telling you. And you know what? The only way it stops is one parent at a time. For real. Talk to your kids. Man, turn that thing off. Right? Tonight, you're turning it off. Watch what happens when you say to them 3 hours, no phone, no computer, no nothing. Watch what 3 hours does to them. And if they don't look like I used to, right? Pacing the room, looking at the watch, right? If that's what you see, then there's a problem. We owe our kids a hell of a lot more than what we're giving them. We really do. We owe our kids so much more than we are giving them right now. And it hurts. It really does. That tears me up. I think that's one of the worst things that's going on right now. TikTok is evil, right? And the drugs that are on the street. There was a time, somebody wrote to me in a comment, and I got an email from someone as well that said, my kids are of that age. And they're talking to me, and they know that dad did drugs, and they're talking about experimenting. And honestly, I don't know what to tell them. If somebody asked me that question 25 years ago, I think the answer would have been a whole lot different. But experimentation now is Russian roulette. What are you going to say? Look, man, don't do anything in a pill. Okay, well, that's great, but that's not good enough, right? Okay, don't do anything in a pill or anything in powder, right? Nothing more than that. Unfortunately, that's not doing it either. I got into an argument with a guy the other day because my bobbleheaded partner had said on one of the shows that there was a group of people, I think it was 4 or 5 of them, that all died after smoking a joint. And as it turns out, the stuff had carfent on it. And, somebody had sent me a rather nasty email saying that it was the most ridiculous story that they had ever heard, blah, blah, blah. Why would anybody do that, right? Where's the benefit in cutting the stuff? Now, let me tell you a story. Because there are so many ways that things like this can happen. So I went to prison, and while I was in federal prison, a guy came in, and he was in there for smuggling massive amounts of weed into the U.S. He had a deal with the cartels where he would go down there, and because he was Caucasian and of a specific age, he had a much easier time coming through. So they would give him a brand new truck. And all the door panels and everything in there, they were all just, it was like the Cheech and Chong movie, right? The entire thing was just a rolling brick of weed with 4 tires and a steering wheel kind of a thing. And when he got into the States, he would pull into a storage area, like a storage lot where you rent the place. They'd go inside, cut the truck up, right? Pull all the stuff out of it, put it back together. He got to keep the truck, and he got $50,000. And he would do this once a month. And this was his crime. This is what this guy did. And he knew he had not much to worry about, because if you got caught coming into the United States bringing in 2,000 pounds worth of weed, you were probably looking at about 6 years in the feds. It's just because they don't really, worry too much about that stuff, especially by the time this guy got busted. But the last time that he went through, he got caught. And it turns out he was carrying a whole hell of a lot more than weed. Now, he used to honestly go down there and say, I want to sit, don't start putting that stuff in until I'm there. Because he wanted to know he wasn't bringing across blow. He wanted to know he wasn't bringing across tar, because he knew how much time that carried, right? You pay somebody a hell of a lot more than $50 if you want them to take that across the border. So you know what they were doing? They were putting it inside the bricks. They take weed and they brick it. You all know brick bot. Right? And they would brick this stuff together so that they could get into the door panels. Well, inside of every 4 or 5 bricks, they put a thing of tar about this big and just brick it in there. Well, that's what they're doing with fent. Same kind of stuff. Every way that they ever smuggled tar, they're smuggling fent. Trouble is, you start tearing that stuff apart. And if car fent or uncut fent gets any amount of that stuff gets out into that green, it's going to kill who's ever smoking it. It's that, the stuff on the street's killing people, and they're cutting the hell out of it, supposedly. They sure as hell aren't putting it in their full strength, right? Full strength, everybody dies. Everybody that touches it. That's the bottom line on that. My best friend has 2 children. One is addicted to cocaine, and the other is addicted to social media. We were never prepared for this. You're absolutely right. Bubble wrap still pink. Stuck, ice, coffee, dog, tire, talks. Yep. Shredded, life in a truck. Bubble wrap still pink. I don't know that I've ever seen that name. Welcome to the boat. Niall, it's astounding. It really is. There are things out there that you kind of expect, right? If somebody says, my kid's, addicted to drugs or whatever, it's horrifying, but the percentage of people who use are so high that it's not going to take you by surprise, right? But this addiction to social media, and that the good old US of A is behind in everything. We are. We're never really ahead of the curve. We got to the moon, though. I think we did that first. But other than that, we seem to always be a little bit behind the curve. South Korea has listed video games and social media addiction as the #1 addiction in their country. And they're worried about it. They're absolutely worried about it. We all should. It's absolutely the same thing. And if you want to go at it from an actual, sort of medical or scientific thing, they say that, well, we're glad you're here. They say that it's closest to cocaine. And I think, having done a decent amount of blow in my life, that's because, you do coke, you snort a line, right? And 15 minutes later, you're running back in to do it again, because the feel-good chemicals come in a real short blast. It's very intense, right? It's like, but you get it for about 15 minutes and then it's straight back down. Well, that is what social media does, right? The exact same thing. It's straight up and it's straight down. And we talked about this at length on one of the shows that we did. But the most high-tech artificial intelligence on the planet right now is being used for TikTok. For real. TikTok has the most advanced AI in the world. And they're timing how long it takes in between intervals of giving you a blast of what you're looking for. So let's say you groove really heavy to that, what do they call that stuff? That South Korean K-pop, right? Let's say you're a kid. Hey, good to see you, Cemetery. Let's say you're super into K-pop. So how long are they going to wait before they give that kid another K-pop video? And they're trying to keep you on there as long as they possibly can. Gather as much information as they can, put in a little propaganda, all of that stuff, right? So they'll give you 20 minutes of looking at stuff you really don't want to see. You're scrolling, you're doing all this one up, down, and sideways, right? Because TikTok's the only one that can allow you to scroll in 4 directions, from what I understand, right? I read about it, never been there. But 20 minutes, 10 minutes, then you get the next K-pop or whatever flips that switch. And they keep stretching it. See if they can keep you on a little longer. And let's say you bail at minute 18. The next time you come on, the AI will have learned. And they'll go, all right, give them enough to get them rolling, keep them here or her here, and then 17 minutes and 10 seconds. Because at 18 last time, he turned the phone off. She turned the phone off. We can't have that. So go to 17 minutes, 10 seconds. There's a computer learning exactly how to keep you strung out. If that doesn't scare the hell out of you, I mean, good Lord. We owe our kids more. I absolutely believe we owe our kids more. My son is a Johnny fan. Well, they can't all be born smart, Jen. I'm just kidding. Best discipline my parents did in the black and white era was allow me only 1 hour of TV after I got home from school. Then I had to find something else to do with my mind. You know what? The saddest thing in the whole world is that you don't see kids playing outside anymore. You don't. Or if you do, there'll be 6 of them in a park like this. They're not looking at one another. They're not talking to one another. Do you know that for the first time ever, the age of kids who are getting their driver's licenses, kids don't get their driver's licenses at 16 anymore. Do research on it. They can't be bothered to get a driver's license. People, do you remember what that was like? Do you remember when you were like, I got 8 days, man. 8 days. I'm going to be 16. Freedom. I'm going to have a car. I'm going to be able to go do this. I'm going to be able to go do that, right? That was just such a thing. It's not anymore. Kids don't go to proms and dances and things in high school because this damn thing is their entire life. They live in a world that doesn't exist. And I'll tell you something. You think it's bad now if the world doesn't go to hell in a handbasket? Wait until everybody is in worlds that don't exist, right? The Matrix is on its way. It really is, right? It is on its way. Facebook did not change their name to Meta for no apparent reason, right? The metaverse is coming. They're selling real estate in the metaverse. You can buy high-top shoes in the metaverse. There is a court case, true story, where a girl is complaining about being sexually harassed in the metaverse. This is the world we're going to, people. We owe our kids more. We owe our kids so much more. And it's just one more addiction. You know what I mean? This one's electronic, but it is just one more addiction. They don't date, says Johnny. You're absolutely right. They don't. Or if they do, it's this. It's this, right? They're not going to actually go out and see one another. They play football, baseball, basketball on video games instead of going outside and playing the games. Sad. Very, very sad and unhealthy. Make no mistake. Very, very unhealthy. Ladybug, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. I rode in a truck standing up. I'm still alive. All right, sorry. I believe in all of you. Every last one of you. I really do. The ones I'm not huge fans with. I still believe in them. I believe every single one of you. I believe that you can be so much more than sober. I think that sober is base camp. I think you can rebuild every bridge that you have destroyed. I think that you can live the life you were born to live. I believe everybody on this boat has so much more to offer than they have been given. I believe that your best days are ahead of you. I believe that the potential for who you were born to be is that far away. It's a matter of that one out of 1,830,800,000 thoughts you're going to have in your lifetime. You need one that says, I'm better than this. I'm not doing this crap anymore, man. I don't care what it takes. I can't be this person anymore. I don't want to be a slave. I don't want to live and take everything that I've been given, the love, the communication, the caring, all of this that makes me what I am, and I'm just going to stick it into one of these, right? Or put it in my arm. I'm going to give all of that up for a buzz. That one conscious moment of clarity. I believe every one of you are capable of that moment. And if I didn't, I would not be sitting here. You really don't want to know what's in McDonald's food. I actually worked there for 6 months when I was a teenager, and I was really skinny because I wouldn't eat there. Oh, you know what? Honestly, I don't want to know. But I do know this. Their ice cream maker, I don't believe one of them has ever worked. Truthfully, I don't believe one of them has ever worked. Let's see something here. Oh, I had you. Hold on, one comment here, people, that I thought I missed. Because I saw one from Dennis that said, I will never do that again. And you know what? I'm not sure exactly what you said you're never going to do again, but I love that proclamation. On this boat, it usually doesn't matter. If somebody says, I will never do that again, it's probably a really good thing. I really believe that. It's probably a really, really good thing. Though the rotary phone, you know what? I miss the rotary phone. As long as they don't sell mixostroming, I'll be okay. You know, it's funny that you say that. Because from my understanding is that they're getting ready to come out with mixostroming. And they're going to call it Johnny Scoville's. As far as I know, you've eaten more of that garbage than almost anybody in America. I think you like it. I truthfully am honestly am coming to the conclusion that you may be a fan of it. Okay. I believe animals make life better. I absolutely, wholeheartedly, 100% believe that they make you live longer. They make you live happier. They do wonders for every aspect of your life. There are so many things. I play a million genres of music. My favorites are video game covers. Well, there you go. Yeah, I miss the rotary phone. I miss the noise of the rotary phone. Dope that is. That a boy, Dennis. Never again. Right? You draw the line in the sand and you grit your teeth and you say never again. I believe that just say no should be just say no, as in K-N-O-W. And I believe that when somebody says to you, I think that your kids are doing drugs, and you say, not my kid, that could be the worst thing or the best thing that ever happened to you. You just got to learn to grit your teeth and go, not my kid, right? As in, there's no chance I am ever going to let that happen. That's how that has to go down. Speaking of good kitties, he's a good girl, huh? Squirrel Nut Zip Zip. You know, she came to the party a little bit late. That cat, your pay is being docked, kitty. He's a good girl. You know what? She knows when I'm on the boat. No lie. If I try to get her to stay somewhere when I'm not filming, there is no chance of it. I'm so happy to be back with family and friends on the boat. I have a smile on my face. I love squirrel too. I feed outside kitties. I have very fat outside cats. I love it. I also believe wholeheartedly that this is the greatest cat in North America, in or out of a basket. She tonight she's making the cameo appearance. I'm telling you, this is one of the all-time great animals. Alrighty, peeps, that brings us to the top of the hour. People, I believe that there is nothing in this world that you can do that is worse than suffering in silence. As I said, I think it takes a crew. I think you got to have people in your corner who are ready to listen to you and ready to be there at any moment to help you get through. That is absolutely a necessity if you want this to work. Please, please don't suffer in silence. All right? Now, a special shout out to the over 100 people who watched this morning's video. You know what, people? Please, get up and catch that video. Try it. Say hello to the other people on the boat in that video, right? Get to know each other. and watch what happens. You know, that's just a way to start your day that is really, really healthy. It helps you stay focused. It's like a 5-minute version of the Lifeboat, and it's a chance for everybody to sort of shoot back to one another. It's a great way to make sure that you got a crew that's helping you in your sobriety at all times. All right? I will be back tomorrow night. The double yawn. I will be back tomorrow night. Same squirrel time, same squirrel channel. She will be here. I am Captain Tommy Scoville. Between now and tomorrow night, reach out and try to save somebody. And if that somebody is yourself, thank you, Angel Wings. And this is a cat who's not in a basket. I love you all. We'll see you tomorrow night. God bless. Squirrel, you little... Cannot believe you did that to me.